Hey dudes, Sylvain Soltis here, and today I'm back with a very important Memories of Vanilla story for you all. Back in the day, it took ages to get to max level in World of Warcraft. Like, months could go by from the time you first created the character until you finally hit 60. It was a grand adventure, and the feeling of accomplishment upon seeing that final yellow swirl glow around your character was one of the most amazing feelings in all of gaming, in my opinion. Well, after 27 episodes of leveling and adventuring through Azeroth, it's finally time to tell this particular story. Yes, today I'm going to share the story of how I finally hit level 60 in World of Warcraft. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the feels as I go through this tale. It was the early summer of 2006. School had just let out, and I had a decent amount of things on my plate. Working part-time, preparing documents and things for my upcoming foreign exchange, and of course, lots of World of Warcraft time. It had been nearly a year since I'd first stepped into Azeroth, and I was determined to finally get to level 60 and try to get into raiding before I headed out across the world, in real life. And so, one evening, after finishing up work and taking a much-needed shower, I logged in and looked at my experience bar. Just over halfway through level 58. I had nothing to do the next morning, so I knew it was time. I was finally going to hit level 60. The grind began. Having talked with Leica about it before going to work that day, I flew up to Light's Hope Chapel to make my way over to the grinding spot just past the Broman Mill, the Noxious Glade. This area was perfect for my priest, as I could shackle any extra undead that I accidentally pulled, mind control the cultists in the area, and collect lots of Scourge Stones from the enemies to increase my Argent Dawn reputation along the way. Plus, they dropped lots of cloth for my tailoring, so it was really the ideal place to go. At this point, I was tapped out of quests, and I also knew that running dungeons would be mostly futile, as the experience from mobs wasn't really worth forcing my priest into groups. For hours, I ran in a loop around the undead-filled wasteland, mowing down skeletons, ghouls, and cultists as efficiently as I could, all the while watching as my experience bar slowly filled up. Around 10:30 p.m., I hit level 59. My rested experience was all but spent, and I started to doubt if I'd actually be able to make my goal. But nevertheless, I persevered, slaying wave after wave of the Scourge forces. Hours passed. Cans of Mountain Dew littered the area around my feet, and my eyes and hands grew wearier. But it was worth it. It was just after 7:30 a.m. when I killed that final skeletal mage. A yellow aura surrounded my dark purple shadow priest, and I sighed. It was finished. I had reached level 60. I picked up the phone and immediately called Leica, who was less than thrilled that I woke him up so early on a day that he didn't have to be at work. But when I told him that I'd capped, he jumped right onto his computer. "Dude," he said, "let's go do Stratholme." Naturally, I agreed. I was super hyped since it would be my first dungeon as a max level character. I was finally going to be able to enjoy the endgame of this game that I had been playing for so long. When he logged in, I asked him to set up the group while I went to go take a shower, since, I needed another one after having an all-nighter and drinking so much Mountain Dew. He agreed, and I left for about 20 minutes, sending Sylvite off on a flight path back to Light's Hope Chapel, after grabbing some new spells in Ironforge. However, when I returned to my PC, he'd only been able to find a hunter to join us. I was starting to feel the exhaustion set in, and so I wearily typed the message to my groupmates. Actually guys, I'm super tired from pulling an all-nighter. Leica, let's do this later. I'm gonna hit the sack. Sure thing, bud, he replied. Good night. So, I went upstairs, opened my bedroom door, and immediately passed out with a huge grin on my face. I hope you enjoyed this installment of Memories of Vanilla. This particular story is especially nostalgic for me, as you can probably imagine. Hitting level 60 was such a momentous occasion that, to this day, I can't think of anything else in World of Warcraft that has come close to the feeling I experienced back then. Sure, Sartharian plus 3 10-man and Heroic Lich King 25 were big, but that first time hitting level 60 was just that much sweeter, and it's a memory of a long time past that I'll treasure forever. But anyway, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this story, let me know by subscribing and leaving a comment down below. Also, follow me on Facebook and Twitter for content updates, and check out my blogs over on Blogspot to see more written stories, guides, and other content. Finally, if you really enjoyed this content and would like to see more, consider becoming one of my patrons over on Patreon so that I can continue doing what I love in the future. I really appreciate the support, both there, here, and over on the blog. But for now, and as always, much love guys, and take it easy.